Welcome to another demonstration video of Resolve Actions. In this demonstration video, I'm going to run through the manual way to interact with a mainframe using a terminal emulator. And then we're going to go through the runbook and automate those same steps that we had just done manually. Okay, so this is the first screen of our mainframe. There's no logon prompt. This is just an initial connection screen. So in order to get past this, we need to do a reset and then a clear. So obviously press the reset button and then clear, and that will then take us to the logon page. So the logon details here, the logon user is Herc03, so I'll type that in and then I'll press enter. That then asks for a password. And now I'm at a broadcast messages screen. So to get past this screen here, I need to press enter. And then a little funny tip of the day, I need to press enter again to get past that. And that will then take us into the main menu for the mainframe. From here, we have an option input here with different menu items. So we can type in maybe 3 to go to the IM system monitor. So there's lots of things to see and do in here. But to exit the menu, we need to press the special key, PF3, that exits this utility. And then back on the main menu again, we can press PF3 to exit again and type in log off and press enter, and that exits and disconnects our session from the mainframe. We're now looking at the automation for this use case. So the first part of the automation is to connect into the mainframe. There are some settings here that you can choose, such as specifying the target system and port, the terminal type, and the type of SSL context to use. So the emulator is installed onto the same server that we're running Resolve on, and we're looking at an IBM 3278-2-E emulation. So the first thing we want to do is connect into that mainframe. Now, if we get a connection, we follow the green path. If we don't get a connection, then we follow the red path, and we can display a comment within our workflow. The first part is the connection screen. The connection screen is where we had that initial screen before the logon screen. So we have several commands here. One is to wait for a certain value at the field. So this is telling Resolve to wait until we find Hercules on the logon screen, or the connection screen, I should say. Now, there's different fields, there's offsets, there's timeouts, there's field numbers. All this sort of information allows us to orchestrate or automate these type of mainframe processes and use cases. So the first thing we're going to do when we get to that connection screen is press the reset and clear button. So if I highlight the send keys here, we can send multiple keys to the mainframe, or key presses to the mainframe in one go. Now the first key is the reset key that we saw, and then the second key is the clear key. And it's all running within that same session that we set up at the original beginning here. Okay, so once we send those keys, we then need to wait for the screen to change. Once that screen has changed, we want to demonstrate some of the reading from the text from the terminal here. So these two action tasks here are going to demonstrate how we can read specific text from the terminal screen, either from a specific field or at specific coordinates. This is quite important because there's going to be several different types of ways you want to read information from the terminal in order to automate it. Then we're going to get to the logon screen, and we're going to want to specify our username and password and press enter. So the first thing we need to do is wait for a certain value at specific coordinates. So at coordinates row 22, column 0, we want to wait until we receive logon on the screen. Once we get that logon on the screen, we can then write specific text. So the first thing we're going to do is type in Herc03 and press the enter key. And then we're going to wait for the next screen to pop up, which is where we want to enter in our password. It starts with enter at the very beginning, and then we'll start to write our password. Our password is pass for you at field number 3. And of course we press enter afterwards. That allows us to get past the logon screen, but if you remember, there's 2 more screens that we need to get past until we can get to the main menu. And these are the broadcast messages and the tip of the day. So again, these automations or these action tasks here allow us to wait until the broadcast messages screen has been displayed and then press enter to get past that. We then wait for the next one, which is tip of the day, and we press enter to get past that. Now we're in the main menu where we can input our option to get through to one of those menu options that we said by typing in the number or by moving the cursor and pressing enter. For the purposes of this demonstration, the next thing we'll do is simply disconnect from the mainframe. And by disconnect, I mean exiting out gracefully by sending the keys PF3, waiting for the screen to change, sending a special PF3 again, and then eventually disconnecting from the mainframe. Okay, so let's go off and execute this automation. Execute in a new worksheet, click on execute, and let's go and have a look at the worksheets. So this is the worksheet for our automation here. The first thing we're doing is connecting into the mainframe and finding that first value. Now, what we're doing here within the worksheets, if I click on this, you'll also see the screen that's being displayed on the mainframe. So this is very handy for troubleshooting and kind of watching the flow of the automation as well. So this particular action task here, if you remember the first part, this is we're waiting for a specific value at a field. So at field 12 offset 1, we're waiting for Hercules, which is there. So as soon as we see that, we can then start the next part, which is sending our reset and clear special keys. We then wait for the screen to change. We're at the logon screen now. We can now demonstrate where we can read the two different values. So the first value is this field 141 offset 1, which I believe is this information here. And then the second read is from different or specific coordinates. So from row 0, column 0, which is that. We're then waiting for the login to be found at row 22, column 0, and we're writing our text, our login details. So there's Herc03 being written in. We press enter, then we get to where we need to enter in the password. We type in the password and wait for the broadcast screen and the tips of the day. We see a screen change has been detected. We're now at the main menu. So the menu is where we want to specify a 3 up here so we can log into the system monitor. So we write that text to that specific field, which is 3, and press enter. Oh, we've got an error here. Okay, so on this screen here, we didn't get what we were expecting. So Resolve's going to try again and type in 3 and press enter. And this time it's worked. Okay, so that's good that Resolve's been able to get past that problem. So the next thing, we're in this interactive menu system here. From here, we've sort of done our job for the use case. Mainframes are really about entering in different information, getting into different menus, running commands or processes or jobs, extracting the data like you showed right at the beginning from the screen, and then logging off. And that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to send our PF3 key to exit this menu here and wait for that screen change, which is back at the main menu now. We'll send another PF3 to exit out of the main menu, and we'll get back to the ready prompt. At the ready prompt, we can type in log off, and that's completed, and then we can finally disconnect from the mainframe. Okay, so that's the end of this demo video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.